I mean, there's no sense to have him available. Whoever's running their media relations should turn that down.
How would you get the best out of Shedeur Sanders? Because he's in this spot where the fame does carry him around. The people are going to be yelling for him. He's not going to get reps with the ones. He's sort of stuck. How would you get the best out of him? How would you handle this?
Hey, just keep growing. Go to practice every day, work hard, and when your time comes, be ready. Make sure that you're preparing to be the starter every single week. And if he is the emergency quarterback, it's going to be in a big situation. So why is the third quarterback getting interviewed? You got nothing to do with the game, okay? It's all for media clicks. And, he's a heck of a personality, but the personality can't come out until you do something on the field. And, it's a big week for Dylan Gabriel and a big week for the Browns. I mean, making that transition for him even be available to the press. I don't know why he's doing it.
Is that the comms team? Like, who's putting him out? So we're saying it's not really on him. We have to protect him. He's a young player.
Yep.
Why are we making him available?
Exactly. Bruce Arians must have opened his phone, scrolled for 5 seconds, and saw the whole internet losing its mind over Shedeur Sanders. And that's when he said, "Not today." The man didn't just tweet something and log off. He went full coach mode in real time. It was like the old Bruce woke up ready for war. He fired back at everyone dragging Shedeur's name through the mud. Analysts, trolls, fake scouts, all of them. What happened next? Pure chaos with a side of brilliance. Arians didn't rant. He preached. It felt like a football sermon echoing through every locker room in the country. NFL legends were gripping their clipboards like it was Judgment Day. College fans suddenly started acting like pro recruiters, arguing about mechanics and leadership like they had Super Bowl rings on their fingers. And right in the center of it all sat Shedeur Sanders. Calm, collected, sipping like he's watching his own highlight reel for the 100th time. That little smirk saying, "I told you so." Arians flipped a digital roast into a masterclass on leadership, loyalty, and what real coaching looks like. The internet tried to clown him, but Bruce turned it into content gold. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Seriously, it helps way more than you think, because Monday didn't just go wild, it went nuclear. Where logic completely left the chat, that's when things got crazy. Forget game stats, forget scoreboards, because none of that mattered anymore. The only headline anyone cared about was Shedeur Sanders, a third-string quarterback somehow stealing the spotlight from half the league's starters. Wild, right? And then comes Bruce Arians, the man with more Super Bowl rings than patience. He's out on a golf cart somewhere, probably minding his business, squints at his phone and goes, "What kind of football circus is this?" Boom. Chaos all over again. The sports world went into meltdown mode instantly. Talk shows that should have been breaking down the Browns' O-line suddenly turned into CSI, Shedeur Sanders edition. Analysts were pausing clips, zooming in on facial expressions, breaking down body language like it was a mystery movie. ESPN even turned a simple shoe-tying moment into a full-blown leadership documentary. No joke, they acted like he just solved world peace by adjusting his cleats. So when Bruce Arians stepped in swinging, he wasn't coming after Shedeur at all. He was checking the whole NFL media circus. He basically called out every commentator, every hot take merchant, and every fan who turned football into a reality show with shoulder pads. At this point, talking about Shedeur Sanders isn't optional. It's mandatory. You could have the Super Bowl, a celebrity meltdown, and an alien invasion all happening at once, and someone would still lean over and whisper, "Yeah, but how does Shedeur feel about it?" So of course, it was only a matter of time before Bruce, the caffeine-driven, grit-fueled, permanently annoyed legend himself, finally said, "Enough's enough." The Browns were out here handing out press passes to backup quarterbacks again. And that's when...
I feel like traditional sports media is kind of in for a rude awakening. Because I hate to tell you guys, like, Shedeur, 23 years old, guess what? The kids that are coming up after him and the high school quarterbacks right now understand the popularity and the polarization of Shedeur Sanders and who you think they're going to model after. You think they're going to model after somebody like Jalen Hurts that is a little bit more boring and that doesn't say a whole lot? Or you think they're going to try to be somebody like Shedeur Sanders? Because now we're living in a generation, and I'm saying this as somebody like Nick, I grew up with social media. I understand, and it's helped me in my...
Bruce Arians had enough. It was that perfect blend of veteran rage and classic Arians fire, the kind of raw emotion that only a man with decades in the game can bring. What followed wasn't just a rant, it was a full-blown masterclass in calling out nonsense. A verbal touchdown aimed straight at everyone, fanning the flames of this circus. And here's the wildest part. Bruce didn't even come for Shedeur directly. Not at all. He didn't blame the kid, didn't shade him, didn't even flinch his way. He went straight for everyone else. The media, the hype train, the Browns PR crew, all of them. He tore into the entire ecosystem that somehow turned a third-string quarterback into a headline factory. He basically said, we're losing our minds over sideline smirks while real football's being ignored. Think about it. Every single day, every throw, every smirk, every blink gets treated like Shedeur's running for president. The man adjusts his headset on the bench, and suddenly, social media is spinning conspiracy theories like he's decoding national security files. He's locked in, they say. He's sending a message. Yeah, probably a message that says, can someone please find me an O-line that can block for more than 2 seconds? But here's the truth. This isn't football anymore. This is theater. A wild mix of celebrity, clout, and pure chaos rolled into one giant meme storm. Because Shedeur Sanders isn't just playing quarterback, he's occupying the internet's imagination 24/7. Every move he makes gets turned into a storyline. Every glance becomes a viral clip. Every sideline breath turns into a new episode of Keeping Up with the Quarterbacks. It's madness. Beautiful, ridiculous, captivating madness. Bruce Arians saw it for what it was. Not a football moment, but a cultural moment. And Bruce Arians? Oh, he's not sitting back watching reruns. He's officially done with the hype circus. He's over the endless interviews, the fake debates, the recycled drama dressed up like breaking news. When reporters finally caught up to him and asked what he thought about the Shedeur situation, Arians didn't blink, not once. There was no sugarcoating, no PR spin, no fancy coach speak. He spoke like a man who's allergic to nonsense and straight up tired of babysitting headlines. His tone said it all. That raw, old-school fire that's earned him rings and respect. And then he dropped the hammer. When you're third string, you don't need to be in front of cameras. Boom! Straight from the coach's mouth, no filters, no hesitation, just cold, sarcastic truth laced with cigar smoke and experience. He doubled down too. You need to be in front of the playbook, not the cameras, he barked. That's vintage Bruce. All bite, no fluff. He wasn't being petty. He was reminding everyone what this game is supposed to be about. This is football, not a fame camp, he snapped, practically shaking his head at how far the league's gone off script. And let's be honest, he's not wrong, not even close. This is the same man who coached Tom Brady, commanded locker rooms full of legends.
We're only going to see that continue in the world of athletics. Like, Shedeur Sanders is kind of the first of his kind. There are going to be plenty of characters similar to Shedeur Sanders, and I hate to tell you guys, probably worse than Shedeur Sanders to follow because he is such a big deal online. But the thing is, he's actually not doing anything or saying anything or acting poorly.
Well, but so to what you're saying, the only thing that I can really think about, like the only thing that I can draw an equivalence to, there's nothing in sports. Meaning, like, for what Shedeur's actually done in sports versus the outrage on both sides at anything that, like, all he's done is kind of be a 22-year-old kid that was good in college and then got drafted but didn't handle the pre-draft process right. That's all.
And survived media firestorms way bigger than this Cleveland sideshow. Compared to what he's seen, the Browns' chaos looks like a drizzle in July. But the internet doesn't do chill. Nope, half the fans exploded saying, Bruce needs to mind his business, while the other half were shouting, finally, somebody said it, because let's be real, the Shedeur show has turned into its own league at this point. You can't escape it. Every NFL highlight, every segment, every headline somehow sneaks his name in there, even when he hasn't taken a single snap. The man could literally be inactive for the game. Pads off, hoodie on, nowhere near the field, and he'd still trend higher than teams that actually won. That's insane. We've officially hit the point where analysts don't even need facts anymore to spark a headline. All it takes is a screenshot, a smirk, or a still frame from the sideline, and boom, instant viral moment. Like, seriously, Shedeur looked calm today. That's the whole headline. And guess what? 10 million views. Calm while doing what exactly? Walking past the Gatorade table, adjusting his wristband, doesn't matter. He's content now. That's how deep the obsession runs. It's gotten to the point where breathing near a camera turns into a trending topic. And that's exactly where Bruce Arians struck a nerve. Deep beneath the jokes, caffeine-fueled rants, and classic old-school frustration, he was exposing a much bigger problem. Bruce wasn't mad at Shedeur for having charisma or star power. He respects that. The kid's naturally magnetic. What he was furious about was the system, this broken machine that treats social media engagement like it's game film, that values clicks over completions and retweets over results. That's what's driving him nuts. Meanwhile, Cleveland's media department probably thought they were pulling off some genius PR move. Let's show more Shedeur. Let's keep him visible. Let's feed the hype. And Bruce is somewhere yelling, visible for what? Practice? Bench glamour shots? You can just picture him shaking his head in disbelief, wondering what world he woke up in. The wildest part, Shedeur didn't even ask for any of this. He didn't campaign for the spotlight or chase the viral moments. They just keep finding him. He's not even doing anything. He's just existing. At this point, Shedeur Sanders' name alone is like a content generator. The man could be sitting there quietly, tying his cleats, and someone would upload it with dramatic background music and a caption like, Shedeur preparing for greatness. It's insane, ridiculous, but also exactly the kind of digital chaos that defines today's NFL, where the headlines move faster than the actual plays. And of course, the moment Bruce Arians' comments hit the airwaves, the internet detonated. Feeds lit up like a 4th of July show. Half the timeline instantly transformed into PR experts defending Shedeur's right to build his brand. He's just marketing himself. Let the man cook, they shouted. Meanwhile, the other half morphed into self-proclaimed sports psychologists, breaking down his confidence levels like it was a group therapy session. Some fans screamed, he's a business now, not just a player, while others barked, forget the cameras, focus on football, not fame. And right in the middle of that digital brawl, Bruce Arians was probably sitting back in his chair, sipping something strong, shaking his head, thinking, what happened to the game I used to know? It's wild. A whole debate about fame versus focus, brand versus ball, all spinning out of control before kickoff. And now, as if the circus needed a bigger tent, Cleveland's got a massive showdown coming up against the Minnesota Vikings in London. So not only is this drama crossing the internet, it's crossing oceans. Huge stage, international audience, high stakes, and somehow, the biggest storyline still isn't about the playbook, the defense, or even the scoreboard. Nope, it's about who the Browns are letting talk in front of a microphone. Forget film sessions, forget game plans. This whole situation has officially turned into the Public Relations Bowl. You couldn't script this kind of madness if you tried. The Browns are literally flying across the ocean to prove they can win a football game. And the media's like, quick, zoom in. Is Shedeur smiling on the sideline? The man's third on the depth chart, but first in search results. It's unbelievable. At this point, they might as well list him on the roster as QB3, trending #1, because that's exactly how it feels. Shedeur's not even starting, yet he's the face of the franchise's drama. And honestly, Bruce Arians' frustration makes total sense. The man's watching a league he helped shape turn into a social media content factory. Football's no longer just a sport. It's a non-stop production line of clicks, clips, and controversy. Every snap,
Shedeur Sanders is this close to becoming the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. But people aren't talking about his game. They're mad because he's out here pretending to be a mime in interviews every single day. Cameras get shoved in this kid's face. Reporters asking the same questions. Microphones everywhere. And instead of cracking, Shedeur flips it. He makes light of it. He stays calm and has fun and plays the role. They call it unprofessional, but let's be real. Not every interview has to be prime time. Sometimes it can be mime time.
Every smirk, every headline fuels the machine, and sitting dead center in that hurricane, whether he asked for it or not, is Shedeur Sanders. Not because he begged for fame, not because he chased the spotlight, but because he sells. That's the uncomfortable truth Bruce is pointing out. The NFL doesn't just run on touchdowns anymore, it runs on engagement metrics. Ratings, reactions, and retweets are the new currency. And let's be fair, Shedeur didn't stumble into this by accident. The man's got the swagger, the pedigree, and the name that guarantees attention. It's like Shedeur Sanders was born with a microphone in his face. The man could go completely silent for an entire year, vanish from interviews, disappear from press conferences, and someone would still upload a clip titled, Shedeur's silence speaks volumes. That's how wild it's gotten. His name alone trends before he even throws a pass. He doesn't have to say a word. The internet does the talking for him, and that's exactly why Bruce Arians' old school frustration hit such a nerve. Because deep down, beneath all that sarcasm and grumpy coach energy, he's absolutely right. He's not ranting just to stir the pot. He's exposing a bigger, uglier truth. The media isn't protecting these young players anymore. They're feeding them straight to the algorithm. Every word turns into a headline, every look becomes a meme, and every smirk gets turned into a narrative. One awkward response, one out-of-context quote, and boom, your front page news, the main course on Twitter's never-ending buffet of chaos. Arians basically said what most people in the league are too scared to admit out loud. Protect the kid. Don't make him the face of controversy before he's even had the chance to become the face of victory. Let him cook quietly behind the scenes. Let him grind, make mistakes, and grow without a camera shoved in his face every time he exhales. Because once the media builds you up into a mountain, it doesn't take long before they start hunting for the fall. That's just how this cycle works. Hype, peak, crash, repeat. And the crazy part? Shedeur knows it. You can see it every time the camera swings his way, that calm look in his eyes that says, I know what y'all are doing. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. There's this look in Shedeur's eyes, a flicker of awareness, like he's juggling football and fame at the same time. Imagine trying to study a playbook while the entire internet turns every move you make into a meme. That's not just pressure, that's a psychological marathon. And the second he has an off day, the narrative doesn't say, tough matchup or rookie still learning. Nope. The headline becomes, is Shedeur losing his magic? Like what? Magic? Bro, he's not David Blaine. He's a rookie quarterback trying to survive behind an offensive line that collapses faster than a folding lawn chair at a barbecue.
This is a 22-year-old who's worked his way from Jackson State to Colorado to the NFL spotlight. He's already signed NIL deals worth millions, now negotiating endorsement opportunities with brands circling the Browns. This is a kid balancing pressure, money, and expectations. The truth? He's not mocking the media. He's showing us that being young in sports can still include fun. Shedeur Sanders is proving you can handle big contracts and keep your personality. Those same people criticizing Mime Time today, they'll be the first ones cashing in on his jersey sales tomorrow.
So yeah, maybe give the man a break. The Browns offense still looks like a science experiment halfway through the lab report. And Shedeur's job right now isn't to be the face of the franchise's PR campaign. It's to stay locked in, ready, and prepared for his shot. That's it. Bruce Arians just reminded the entire football world of that truth. And he didn't whisper it. He shouted it, loud, blunt, and unfiltered, like only Bruce can do. But here's where it gets flat out hilarious. The moment Bruce tried to slow down the Shedeur media storm, he accidentally made it worse. You can't script irony this perfect. The more Arians complained about Shedeur's overexposure, the more exposure Shedeur got. It was like watching the NFL's version of a cell phone in real time. Within hours, every sports outlet, every talk show, every little fan podcast had a new headline. Bruce Arians calls out Shedeur Sanders coverage. ESPN segments, YouTube thumbnails, Twitter threads, the content floodgates opened wide. The thunder didn't quiet down, it roared louder. So while Bruce was trying to put the spotlight back on football, he accidentally supercharged the circus. Absolutely. Congratulations, coach. You just gave the man another full week of trending time. It's poetic, really. Bruce Arians tried to yank the cord on the hype machine, but instead, he hit the turbo boost button. You can't make this stuff up. The internet was supposed to calm down. Instead, it caught fire all over again. You just know there's a group chat somewhere inside the Browns media department labeled Emergency Bruce Spoke. One guy's typing, should we pull the interviews? Another one replies, too late, it's viral. And then someone else mutters, at least we're getting engagement. That right there. That's today's NFL in one sentence. Engagement matters more than execution. Forget playbooks, the algorithms are calling the plays now. It's not even about who wins anymore. It's about who trends the longest. The digital scoreboard doesn't track touchdowns. It tracks views, comments, and hashtags. And the fans, oh, they're right there, feeding the fire without even realizing it. Some are diehard defenders who treat any criticism of Shedeur like it's a personal insult, ready to throw digital punches for their QB. Others are the haters, sitting in the shadows, itching to type, told you so, the second he slips. But here's the kicker. Both sides are feeding the same machine they swear they hate. They're keeping the spotlight blinding bright, keeping the hype train at full speed. It's genius and ridiculous all at once. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback anymore. He's a cultural event. He's what happens when old school football
Press conference.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because whatever he says, they're going to twist his words. If you say nothing, you know, there's really... on any other team, there are 31 there are 31 other teams. Do any of those media members talk to the third string quarterback?
No.
Oh, it's controversy. Why create controversy? How do you not create it? By when they ask you questions, just don't answer. You just don't answer. If anything, they should be talking to Joe Flacco. Why are you talking to Shedeur?
Slides with full-blown TikTok energy. Every clip, every quote, every tiny reaction goes viral before kickoff. Meanwhile, Bruce Arians, the man who still swears by hard work, locker room discipline, and a cold post-practice beer, is probably sitting back, staring at his screen like, what happened to football? You can almost picture him in his chair, shaking his head, watching the chaos unfold while muttering, this ain't the game I grew up coaching. He's the voice of that old school frustration, yelling into a brand new digital echo chamber that's way too busy refreshing its timeline to even hear him. He represents a generation built on grind and grit, trying to make sense of a league that now runs on hashtags and highlight clips. And yet, that's the strange beauty of it all. The old colliding with the new, tradition clashing with trend, discipline crashing headfirst into dopamine. Somewhere in the middle of that storm, the internet just sits back, popcorn in hand, and enjoys the spectacle. Because say what you want about this madness, but one thing's certain, it's never boring. In a weird, almost poetic way, Bruce Arians and Shedeur Sanders are two sides of the same coin. Bruce represents the grind, the sweat, the stripes, the earn it or don't get it mentality. Shedeur represents the new wave, the spotlight, the clicks, the generation that turned attention into currency. The NFL didn't just evolve, it flipped. The game didn't slow down, it sped up, traded locker room whispers for viral tweets and highlight reels for trending clips. And now, every time those two worlds collide, old school grit versus new age fame, the internet gets another full episode to binge like it's their favorite reality show dressed up as Sunday football. So as the Browns pack their gear and board that plane to London, one thing's guaranteed. It won't even matter who throws the touchdowns or who wins the game. The headlines are already written. Shedeur Sanders seen boarding plane, looks focused. Boom, viral, millions of views off one single photo. That's all it takes now. And you just know Bruce Arians is somewhere rolling his eyes, taking a long sip of whatever keeps him sane these days, and muttering, "You can't coach common sense." Because while Bruce is out here fighting to restore real football fundamentals, the rest of the world's busy turning third-string quarterbacks into influencer content. It's insane, but it's also the reality of today's NFL. The game has officially changed forever, and maybe that's what makes this whole saga so captivating. It's not just about one coach's rant, one viral...
I like the way he handled it, because anything he does say, they're going to make it a big deal. They're going to twist his words. They're going to take it completely out of context. Listen, Dylan Gabriel's a starter. So be it.
For me, I mean, it's being reported.
Yeah.
Adam Schefter reported, and some other networks are starting to report that this was his response to Rex Ryan saying what he said on the Sunday show, that keep your mouth closed, move to the front of the class, and X, Y, and Z.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
I guess this was a situation where he's like, okay, I should keep my mouth shut. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Clip or one rookie quarterback with a famous last name. No, this is way bigger than that. It's about how fame, football, and frustration keep crashing into each other in this wild digital arena we call modern sports. Every time that cycle spins, it drags in new fans, fresh critics, and headline after headline until the story becomes larger than the sport itself. So yeah, Bruce snapped. The media lost its mind. The fans split into factions like rival armies, throwing takes, memes, and hashtags from every direction. And through it all, Shedeur stayed exactly where he always is, dead center in the spotlight without even trying to be there. That's the irony of it all. The louder everyone yells, the calmer he looks. Because whether you love him or you're tired of the hype, one truth remains unshakable. Shedeur Sanders doesn't chase attention. The spotlight chases him. He's not out here begging for it. He's just living in it. Naturally magnetic, effortlessly viral, and caught in a storm that the modern NFL built itself. Attention doesn't just follow Shedeur Sanders, it chases him, criticize him, defend him, worship him, or roast him. It doesn't matter. One fact stands tall like a goalpost in a hurricane. The NFL simply cannot stop talking about Shedeur Sanders. He's the headline, the hype, the lightning rod, and somehow still the calm eye right in the middle of the storm. Every time someone tries to set the record straight, the story just spins faster. At this point, it feels like the whole league's trapped inside a gossip tornado, and Shedeur's name is swirling at the center of it all. So go ahead, keep debating whether Bruce Arians was right or wrong, keep refreshing that timeline like it's breaking news, because one thing's for sure, as long as Shedeur Sanders exists, football will never run out of drama, content, or comedy. He's turned sideline glances into storylines, silence into spectacle, and routine moments into must-watch entertainment. And fans, they eat it up like it's primetime television. The NFL has officially crossed into new territory, part sport, part soap opera, and 100% addictive. And somewhere out there, Bruce Arians is shaking his head, muttering under his breath, when did game film get replaced with going viral? Because that's the reality now. This new NFL is half playbook, half publicity stunt, and all entertainment. So if you made it this far, make sure to drop a like, smash that subscribe button, share this video with someone who still thinks football's just a sport, because clearly it's a whole show. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts on this wild saga, and I'll see you on the next one.